fans looking for action? Well, you'll get a big bang out of this.
Grand Haven hosts second race in Triple Crown Series. Offshore racers run for glory on Lake Michigan. 400,000 fans catch offshore fever. Don Johnson, beware, because Chuck Norris is going after the world title. Offshore mania races through the Midwest. So join us on a low-altitude, high-speed flight around the racecourse as we chase these 100-mile-an-hour offshore missiles. Marine Machine brings us inside racing, and crew chief Paul Petito tells us what it takes to campaign a boat on the national circuit. Midnight Express takes us behind the scenes with the APBA medics. Craig Dunham demonstrates how rescue technology keeps up with offshore racing needs. Laser Racing Engines brings us Mechanics Corner. Ray Waddell shows us the latest developments from Lightning Performance Products. Abbott Masters Featured Race Team Series presents Hot Race Team. Roy Hallman discusses the costs of racing a sportsman's class boat. All this and more in this edition of the Offshore Powerboat Race Report.
APBA, the American Powerboat Association. It's challenge, fun, and excitement. Whether it's unlimited hydroplanes, offshore, outboard hydros and runabouts, inboard or drag, the APBA offers 9 categories of excitement. Racing, officiating, and just plain spectating are a few of the many benefits APBA membership affords you. Send your $30 and join the APBA today.
Even though most people never need to use all the speed and performance Midnight Express is noted for, they like to know they could.
It's the thrill of the night, one hell of a show. Let's all climb aboard. It's time to go on that midnight express. I ain't nothing less than the very best. On that midnight express, just coming through.
Midnight Express. It takes one to catch one.
The 6th race of the 1989 APB OPT Series is the Bud Light Spirit of America Run for Glory. The Grand Isle Marina plays host to over 63 offshore racers and race boats during this event. Located on the northeast shoreline of Lake Michigan, this race site is truly a haven for vacationers all year round. The people of Grand Haven, the race promoters, and race sponsors make sure that the racers and fans know that they're welcome. The Bud Light Spirit of America Run for Glory is the 2nd race in the Michigan Triple Crown Series. Lake St. Clair Offshore Racing Association spokesman Mark Lynch explains.
The Great Lakes Trophy is a presentation put together through the Lake St. Clair Offshore Racing Association. It's awarded to the boat in any class from sportsman's A through to superboat, where it's given to the boat with the highest point totals in any of the all 3 of the Michigan national races.
Well, today's featured race team is from the Windy City. Even in the cold wind off Lake Michigan, Roy Hallman's team will always be hot. Roy tells us about some of the costs involved in campaigning a typical offshore race boat.
If you get into a rig like this and you intend to race in D Sportsman with a larger catamaran, which I can feel a 32-footer is, you can expect to spend in excess of $85,000 or $90,000. This particular rig was given an evaluation or a survey of $125,000 replacement value on the trailer without the little truck I have to pull it around. And if you get into this size, I think you will need some type of specialized towing vehicle. There are obviously the slower or lower classes don't require as much capital to get involved with. You turned around, we have a perfect example of a little A-boat, a little deep VA boat that the fella probably purchased for a minimum amount of money. When I say minimum, probably under $15,000. You can notice this is a smaller boat. It's a deep V boat with almost a stock, off-the-shelf power unit and outdrive assembly. And this fellow's going out having a good time with this boat and racing in the sportsman's class on the same day. All the national racers, your Al Copelands from the Popeye Fried Chicken chain, your Don Johnson from TV fame and movie fame, etc. We all go out there on the same day and compete, only in different classes. And I think we all, I mean, if you really enjoy the sport, you get into it and you're willing to make the sacrifices necessary between the different amounts of money involved. To give you an idea of what you're up against in this sport money-wise, this particular piece is stainless steel, and this particular piece costs $275 to attach this to here so that the steering doesn't break. This particular hydraulic cylinder assembly would cost you in excess of $270. I've invested over $3,000 just in the steering alone. These are all braided steel lines. From time I had hoses on here to keep them from marking up the cover on the engine, but in this last race they rubbed right off. This is a particular sport where every nut, bolt, screw, anything you can see from the stern of the boat or the last piece of metal all the way to the bow, if you don't look at it between a race, you will find out that it's loosened up, broken, or in some way giving you some kind of problems. So you have to get involved with every piece on the engine in the boat. You either have to know how to do it yourself or pay people to do it, because if you don't, it will break.
The usual drivers' meeting is held the day before the race. Here, the race chairman and medical advisors get together to acquaint the racers with the course rules. Back in the dry pits, the boats are being gassed and prepped for tomorrow's big race. The activity in the wet pits starts early race day morning. While some of the race crews prepare their boats, others prepare their charts, but all have prepared their bodies for the grueling race ahead. Helmets, gloves, and pads are standard equipment when you're dealing with a sport that punishes the body the way offshore racing can. In spite of these risks, or maybe because of them, 63 race teams have assembled here in Grand Haven, Michigan. They're fired up and ready for the 1989 Run for the Glory. And we'll be right back with the start of the race after these messages.
Not all transom brackets are created equal. In fact, it can take 5 of theirs to equal 1 of ours. That's why B-Bracket is the world's best-selling multi-engine transom bracket. Our multi-engine B-Brackets are engineered for double, triple, 4-engine, even 5-engine applications. These days, everyone knows the installation of a transom bracket will improve both the looks and performance of your boat. The installation of a B-Bracket will prove you know better. B-Brackets, designed for those who know better.
For dynamic racing action, don't miss our entire series. The Offshore Powerboat Race Report is available by mail order at each race site and at many popular high-performance dealers. Tapes for the current race are available for shipping within 10 days. Just call 305-386-1154 for information about the dealer nearest you. You can keep up with the racing action all year long because the next checkered flag is just one tape away. Well, welcome back to the 1989 Bud Light Spirit of America Run for the Glory. Today's race comes to you from Grand Haven, Michigan. Superboats and open class will be running a total of 153 miles. UIM2 and Pro Stock boats will run a 125-mile course. Stock class runs 108 miles, and sportsman class boats will run 71 miles.
The Bud Light Spirit of America Run for Glory is brought to you on video by Babe Productions. We'll be covering the race from the water at our boat cam with Billy Messier at checkpoint number 3. Our start-finish line cam with Dennis Gaffney will bring us the race from the ground, and Babe's helicopter point-of-view camera will be sweeping the course and covering the race from the air with air cam Dean Swindler. It's 77 degrees here in Grand Haven. As you can see, it's an overcast day on Lake Michigan. We have winds coming in from the west at 5 to 7 miles an hour, and the seas are about 1 foot. Our land cam at the start-finish line has picked up the pace boat. The pace boat is displaying the yellow flag. That signals the superboat and open classes to form a straight line for the start. There will be 5 separate starts for the boats running in different classes today. Right now, we are looking at the largest and fastest boats on the circuit. 6 superboats and 8 open class boats running in this race today. It looks like they're straight, and now we've got a green flag for the race start. Babe's helicopter point-of-view camera is directly over the starting boats. We can see the early leaders. In Superboat, RDS leads in the inside and is followed by Eric's Reality. Little Caesar's Pizza is in 3rd place. This race course is usually the roughest on the circuit. The calm water today has taken everyone by surprise. Many of these boats are required last-minute equipment changes because of unexpected flat water. With these weather conditions, we can expect a very fast race. The speed should be way up there in all classes. In open class, it's Cat in the middle, followed by Special Edition, Assault, and Hawk Marine Power. This race, as in every race, we've made space available in our helicopter for an APBA medic. This space is donated in the name of the Mark Lavin Safety Foundation. Babe is helping to make offshore a safe sport. Hawk Marine Power is in the number 2 spot for National Points Championship behind Special Edition. This boat is a Jaguar catamaran powered by Hawk Marine inboards and key caber outdrives. John Tomlinson is the driver, and Manny Fernandez is on throttle. It's interesting to note that both the number 1 and 2 boats on the national circuit this year are Jaguar catamarans. Right now, Special Edition is catching up and getting ready to duel it out with Hawk Marine Power. Our land cam has picked up the 2nd start of the day. These are the UIM-2 and Pro Stock boats. There are only 3 UIM-2 boats racing today, and 7 Pro Stocks will be competing. On the outside is Team Talon. Agitator makes a fast move on the inside. Sandwiched in between our first defense, Miss Don Q. Rum and High Risk. M32 Team Skater gets off to a slow start. Back up in Babe's helicopter point of view cam, we find Team Talon. This 37-foot Talon catamaran is the biggest boat in the Pro Stock class. Right now, they're probably wishing for rougher windings. Our boat cam on checkpoint 3 catches the pack as they make the turn at the north end of the course. Leading open class and overall is chairman of the board. Cat is right behind. Eric's Reality is 3rd overall and 1st in Superboat. RDS is 2nd in Superboat and leads Special Edition and Hawk Marine Power. Assault is running 5th place in open class as he is passed by Superboat Little Caesar's Pizza. Lucky Strike is running 4th in Superboat class and 9th place overall. Here comes John Antonelli in Spirit of America. John got off to a slow start, but he's making up time. Spirit of America is in 6th place in open class and moving ahead at a steady clip. In UIM2, Team Skater made up for his slow start. He's now 5 boat lengths ahead of Agitator. They're running first and Agitator is second in UIM2 class. Low Bid is a 30-foot Shadow Cat and now running 5th in Pro Stock. George Gill, the Oklahoma Kid, is supposed to be running his new boat soon. P21 is Pantera Race Team. This 28-foot V-bottom once dominated the Pro Stock class. If the water was rougher, they would be doing it again today. They're running 6th in Pro Stock. That Trick is starting to stretch their lead in stock class, well ahead of Sunfire in 2nd place. Conk Attack battles with Skater Express for 3rd and 4th place in stock class. S125 Assault is in 5th place, followed by Vigilante and Double Cross.
These guys here.
Back in Babe's helicopter point of view cam, we see Agitator on the stretch. He's trimmed out and making ground on Team Skater. M32, Team Skater is a 32-foot skater catamaran. They're running in UIM2 class, as you can tell by the letter M, which precedes their number. This boat is currently the race leader in UIM2 class. Team Skater is running about 110 miles an hour and not missing a beat. You can really hear those twin 540 horsepower Lightning engines go to work. Even though Agitator is running 220 more horsepower than Team Skater, he's still leading the wake in 2nd place. Team Skater and Agitator go for it hard and often during a race. In the Bay City race, these two went for it for 120 miles of all-out racing. Team Skater was the victor in that race. Team Skater is owned and driven by Kevin Brown. James Dyke throttles the boat. They are currently in the lead for the National High Points Championship. Agitator is a father and son team of Alan and Kirk Gutman. Father Alan drives and Kirk throttles. They are in 2nd place in the National Points race, and a win today could put them ahead. These UIM2 boats are really on fire. They're passing Spirit of America from the open class. It looks like Spirit of America throttle man Jack Clark is saving his equipment for the end of the race. Spirit of America is currently in 5th place in open class. He's running behind Chairman of the Board, Cat, Special Edition, and Hawk Marine Power. Running behind Spirit of America are Merlin's Infinity and Blue Max. They are currently in 6th and 7th place in open class. These UIM2 boats aren't saving anything. They just screamed by Spirit of America at over 110 miles an hour. Meanwhile, this grudge race between Team Skater and Agitator looks like it's heating up and ready to last all day. Eastern Express passes Totally Gone, a Sportsman's B-class boat. Driver Joe Bresciani and throttleman Willard Brosler are trying to catch the UIM2 leaders. With only 3 boats racing in this race, the worst they can do is 3rd place. 20,000 boats and Hawk Marine Power is running in 4th position in open class. They may be down on power and just holding back for the last stretch. Spirit of America is still in contention in 5th place. For Hawk is in third place in Sportsman's D class with a 77-mile-an-hour average today. Team Believer is in fourth place, and Hawk Marine and Elevate lead in Sportsman's D class. Eastern Express was down, but has made some time up. They're still in third place in UIM 2 class. Bad news for the James gang. They've been hit with the same mechanical problems that have kept them from finishing a race all year long. Let's hope they get off this losing streak and give those other superboats a run for the money. Babe's helicopter point of view cam has caught up with Little Caesar's Pizza. Throttle man Trace Martin has this boat trimmed out. He's getting as much of the bottom out of the water as possible. The less wetted surface, the faster the ride. The Apache has a real stable ride at these high speeds. The V-bottoms of yesteryear would go into chine walking mode right about now. That's no problem here. This 41-footer is running straight as an arrow over 100 miles an hour. We're now up and running with the superboat leader, RDS. This is another Apache V-bottom at 45 feet. It's got a little more hull than Little Caesar's Pizza. RDS is driven by Stephen Baldwin and throttled by Keith Hazel. They're running triple 850 horsepower Carolina racing engine and Merc Cruiser outdrives. This is certainly one of the most colorful boats on the circuit this year. These giant graphics speak for themselves, but a lot of people want to know what RDS stands for. The boat is sponsored by a computer firm named Reliable Data Systems. That's why the boat goes by the initials of RDS. RDS is in third place in the national point standings after running only 3 races this season. Stephen Baldwin's got a second place and a third place win under his belt. RDS is going for a first place today. So far, he's led the superboat field all day long. RDS is showing no signs of giving up that lead. The Lucky Strike Group is a superboat race team. The driver is Phil Mushinski. Bud Millinghausen navigates, and Jeff Millinghausen throttles the boat. They started the Big Apache legacy when they threatened Popeyes last year for the National High Points Championship. Right now they're in fourth place in the race and in the national point standings. We're with the only V-bottom diesel entry in the national circuit. The boat is Merlin's Infinity. This boat is a new radical design by Harry Scholl. He is best known for his yacht designs. This is his first racing hull. This boat has had its share of problems throughout the year. They've been trying to get it dialed in, but right now they're taking a beating. The boat seems to be porpoising in this flat water. The boat is falling off on its port side a lot. This is a new boat, and sometimes it takes a whole season to work out the bugs. The boat is starting to show some delamination on the port step of its bottom. No wonder with the beating it's taking. Merlin's Infinity is powered by triple 850 horsepower Merlin diesel engines and Merlin marine outdrives. Barry Roth is the owner and driver. Dick Schwartz throttles the boat. The navigator is Bruce Kaplan. They are currently averaging about 68 miles an hour around the course. They're in 5th place in open class. Down in stock, this is a 25-foot motion catamaran, and it is the largest boat running in stock class today. Assault is powered by twin 200 horsepower Mercury outboards. Right now they're trying to catch the leader. At turn 4 we have RDS, who has slipped into second place behind Eric's Reality. At the halfway point we have these standings. In Superboat class, it's Eric's Reality, followed by RDS in second place and Little Caesar's Pizza at third place. In open class, it's chairman of the board. Cat is in second place, but will be penalized for missing a deck point. Hawk Marine Power is in third place in open class. UIM 2 class leader is Team Skater. Eastern Express has moved up to second place, and Agitator is running in third place. In crew stock, Miss Don Q Rum is the leader. First Defense is running in second, and Team Skater is running in third place. Stock class leader is Hat Trick. Conk Attack is in second, and Skater Express is in third place in stock class.
We'll return to the exciting conclusion of the race after our feature stories. Inside Racing is brought to you by Marine Machine, where the quality never stops. Craig Dunham demonstrates how rescue technology is keeping up with offshore racers' needs.
The Switlick rescue sled, it's a fairly new piece of equipment. It's been marketed only recently for the last about 3 months actively. There have been some prototypes on the market for the last couple years, and we've found that it's been very, very useful for us in boat racing. As a matter of fact, the reason that this was developed, that the company took the bull by the horns and worked with this, was because of our need for it in boat racing to remove injured racers from the water. It's been an excellent piece of equipment, and we'd like to demonstrate that for you today while we're here. This is something that would come out of the helicopter with a paramedic. It can either be thrown out or worn out. It weighs about 19 pounds. It's very, very durable, can be worn on the back, and it has a tremendous amount of flotation ability.
As a brief review of what went through in the water, when we laid the sled out, we blew the sausages here, inflated those with CO2 cartridges, slid the sled underneath him, secured his legs and his middle body there, slowly inflated it to the point where the board becomes semi-firm. Then we'll continue the next stabilization here. What we have is a piece of mesh with Velcro. And we also have, if needed here, some inflatable little bags here for lateral cervical stabilization. We inflate those, and we bring this across here, and it secures the head quite well. It enables us to probably maintain about the best cervical stabilization that we possibly can in water, which becomes extremely difficult, especially in rough seas.
Midnight Express takes us behind the scenes where Crew Chief Paul Petito tells us what it takes to campaign a boat on the national circuit.
Before we bring the roto race, we go over all the lower units, the power heads, all the fuel system checks, electrical in the boat, and basically the structure of the boat, make sure there's no damage from previous races. When we first came here, set up thinking, it was going to be rough, and we think the water conditions laid down a lot today. We think it's only going to be like maybe 1 foot out there approximately. So we've raised our engines, run our big wheels, and we're basically set up for flat water.
Can you tell us what's the easiest part of your job?
The easiest part of my job? After the boat leaves the dock. Because after that, it's all out of your hands, and you're just there making, hoping that team does well and the boat stays together.
And now this.
Catch the spray. Call today. Want to get involved? Participant, sponsor, spectator, or fan. Call today while you can. Buy a rig off the shelf or custom build one to your specifications. Offshore racing, inboard, outboard, diesel. It's yours for the asking. Catch the spray. Call today.
There's a certain group of hard-working, hard-playing adventurers who take their recreation very seriously. They seek all the thrills and excitement life has to offer. The evidence of their enthusiasm for adventure is all around us in the form of the recreational vehicles they use in pursuit of a good time. Speedboats, glider planes, motorcycles, and jet skis. At last, the underwater adventure seeker comes into his own with the advent of Sports Sub. If you're one of the new breed and you're ready for the ultimate in underwater action, Plunge into adventure in a sports sub. It's the personal submersible for the new frontier.
Laser Racing Engines takes us to Mechanics Corner, and Ray Waddell will show us some of the latest developments from Lightning Performance products.
Well, one thing that makes it different, it is not an exhaust manifold, it's an exhaust header, and that's probably what really sets it apart from all other products that's on the market. And it's cast of aluminum in place of being a stainless and a welded system. And what we've done is to come out with a product that will eliminate the problems that we experience in the industry with cracks, with tubing cracks, and then hydraulic an engine or wasting an engine because of water coming into it. So what we've done is we've cast equal length tubes in this, and as you can see in this cutaway, there's 4 primary tubes that come up and they blend into a top piece here that makes them blend into a single tailpipe. That's maybe a little bit of oversimplification, but what it does is it gives the primary tubes the equal length that you cannot do in a stainless steel header, because the best that you can do is a 6 to 7 inch spread in the length when you make the bends. So by casting, you can make equal length headers, and it works for your pleasure boat, and it works for a race boat. So we're very proud of this product.
Welcome back to the exciting conclusion of the Bud Light Spirit of America Run for Glory.
We're back for the second half of today's racing action from Grand Haven, Michigan. Babe's helicopter point of view camera is following the stock class racing action. Here is Assault, currently in 4th place in stock class. Assault is heading up the northbound side of the race course. He's trapping more air in his tunnel and is running faster than he did earlier in the race. Moving up the course, we find Skater Express, currently running in 3rd place in stock class. This is a 24-foot skater running with twin 200 horsepower Mercuries. Skater Express currently leads stock class and national point standings. Right now, driver Joe Jacobson and throttle man Chip Hackman are trying to catch up with the leaders. Just ahead of Skater Express is Concattack. Concattack is driven by Scott Cates and throttled by Craig Cates. The Cates brothers are from Key West, and this is their 2nd year in offshore racing. This is their 1st year on the national campaign, and they're doing great. They're currently in 3rd place in the national point standings behind Skater Express and Hat Trick. Right now, Concattack is running in 2nd place in stock class behind Hat Trick. Craig Cates is making sure the boat is not over-trimmed. This is a wise choice because the wakes from the big boats can really take a toll on these smaller boats. Concattack is keeping a steady pace. They're running about 90 miles an hour right now. So far, they've averaged over 83 miles an hour around the course on every lap. A good show from the Cates brothers. It looks like a turn for the worse for Agitator. They're down on power after leading UIM2 class most of the race. They'll have to settle for 3rd. Out in front of the stock class, we find Hat Trick. They're leading the rest of the pack by about 3 miles so far. They're on the edge today, maximizing the tunnel on their 24-foot skater. This strategy has got them where they are. Hat Trick is in 2nd place in the national point standings. A win today could put them closer to the top. Go for it, guys! Running with the sportsman's class, we find Gotcha. This C-class boat is currently running in 5th place in his class. In Sportsman's A-class, we see A30 Panther's Pleasure. This is a 24-foot Switzer with a single 500 horsepower engine. They're currently running about 70 miles an hour and are in 4th place in their class. We move up to Ale Beat, number D78. This is one of the larger sportsman's D-class boats. This 40-foot V-bottom Apache is currently running in second place in sportsman's D-class. Ale Beat is owned and driven by Pete Rhodes, and Bill Ironworth is the throttle man. Ale Beat is powered by twin 700 horsepower C&G Cobra racing engines. The outdrives are key cavers. This boat is from the Everglades Marine Racing Stable. This boat and race team is considered to be a World Championship material. The World Championships might be the race where the V-bottoms will prevail. The waters off New Jersey coast in October are expected to be fierce. Some are predicting 6 to 8 foot seas. It'll be a showdown. The Europeans will be there with their diesel-powered V-bottoms. In what may be the only rough water race all year, the V-bottoms can stage a big comeback. The contest is likely to be more focused on power packages than hull design. Experts feel that the V-bottoms have a good chance of sweeping the World Championships this year. Moving up the course, we see Lucky Strike on the outside. Lucky Strike has been running a conservative race and is currently in 4th place in Superboat class. The leader in Sportsman D is D26, Hawk Marine Power. They've been averaging about 83 miles an hour around the course. Right now they're only seconds in front of Ale Beat. Our land cam picks up Superboat leader Eric's Reality. He has extended his lead and has averaged 103 miles per hour on the last lap. Ale Beat is still in second place in Sportsman's D class. He's averaged 82 miles an hour on that last lap. Vigilante Racing is running 5th place in stock class, and Predator is in 2nd place in Sportsman's B. High Voltage is running in 5th place in Sportsman's A class. RDS streams by, averaging almost 100 miles an hour for the lap. RDS is in 2nd place in Superboat. Here comes Little Caesar's Pizza right on his tail, running in 3rd place. Chairman of the board has a comfortable lead in open class. Agitator comes limping in with a power problem. Cat is in 2nd position in open class as Agitator drops out of the race. UIM2 Team Skater is still in the race. They're in 1st place now after averaging over 100 miles an hour on their last lap. Hawk Marine Power is in 3rd place, unofficially in open class. Penalties on Cat will probably move him up. Eastern Express is now in 2nd place in UIM2 class after outlasting Agitator. D21 Pantera is in 5th place in Pro Stock. The leader in Pro Stock is Miss Don Q Rum. Miss Don Q Rum is also the national high points leader in Pro Stock. Right on their heels is First Defense. They're running in 2nd place in the race and 2nd place in the national point standing. Dave's helicopter point of view camera is following Sportsman's D. We have an all-out dash to the finish line between the leader, Hawk Marine Power, and Hawk. From our land cam, we see Hawk Marine Power putting a power move on Hot. It looks like Hot will be first to cross the finish line. Hot is running on his last leg of the race course. This is a 32-foot skater powered by twin 300-horsepower OMC Johnson engines. Roy Hallman is the owner and throttle man. Bob Reynolds drives the boat. This boat won this race last year and is currently running in 5th place. We'd like to remind our viewers that if you have any good photos, race stories, or videos, send them to Babe. She wants to put them in her show. Give her a call at 386-1154 in Miami. That's fun, 1154 in Miami. We want to hear from you, so give us a call. You too can be a Babe reporter. Lucky Strike has been running a very conservative race today. This strategy seems to be save the equipment and let the others break down. That might be smart. These conditions are not ideal for his boat, so he seems content just being comfortable. This boat did well last year in the race. The conditions then were 5 to 7 feet. Right now he's more like 5 to 7 inches. Phil Mashinsky will have to wait for his kind of water. He'll probably have it at the World Championship. Last year this boat placed 3rd in this race. Right now, Lucky Strike is in 4th place in the race and in the national point standing. Here's a pro stock boat that is still in the thick of things. Team Skater is at 95 miles an hour. Throttleman Red Crane has maintained a good trim attitude. This boat is a 32-foot skater. It's one of the latest high-tech catamarans. It's made of epoxies and light composite. This boat is rumored to weigh less than 4,000 pounds fully rigged. Right now, Team Skater is running in 3rd place in pro stock behind Miss Don Q. Rum and First Defense. On the north side of the course, Charles Marks is in 1st place around the turn. When you're hot, you're hot. Everything is working perfectly for his boat, including the water conditions. RDS has closed the gap a little on Eric's Reality. He's still running in 2nd place. Little Caesar's Pizza is in 3rd place in Superboat class behind Eric's Reality and RDS. In open class, it's chairman of the board in 1st place with Cat right behind. Cat has missed the checkpoint and will be penalized by the judges. Team Skater is the leader in UIM2 class. After a long duel with Agitator, Team Skater has prevailed. Hawk Marine Power is running in 3rd place in open class. This 35-foot Jaguar catamaran used to belong to John Antonelli. Manny Fernandez bought it and re-outfitted it this year. It looks like he finally has it dialed in. Eastern Express is in 2nd place in UIM2 class. Agitator dropped out of the race in 3rd place. We'd like to remind our viewers that the APBA needs volunteers at all the race sites. Volunteers are the backbone of these events. Every phase from race registration to race patrols are staffed by volunteer help. Call the APBA National Headquarters at 313-773-9700 for more information. Spirit of America is in 4th place in open class right now. After the race, the judges will decide if he moves up to 3rd place. One of the other open class boats missed the checkpoint and will be penalized. In pro stock, Miss Don Q Rum is leading the pack. First Defense is close behind Miss Don Q Rum as they've been for the entire race. Lucky Strike is in 4th place in Superboat class as he rounds the turn. The scorekeepers on check boat 3 have an unofficial report.
Well, who's leading?
Okay.
Unofficially, we got 45 Lucky, or Eric's Reality for number 1 on the Supers, and 55 Chairman of the Board for the Open class.
UIM.
Number 1.
Number 1 is Team
Skater. And Pro Stocks, we have P88 Miss Don Q, number 1.
Unofficially, Hat Trick S17 has been leading the entire stock class for the whole race.
Back up to Dean Swindler and Babe's helicopter point of view camera. Chairman of the board is being pursued by Little Caesars Pizza on the southbound stretch. Chairman of the board isn't making it easy on Little Caesars Pizza. Even though Little Caesars Pizza is running over 1,200 more horsepower than Chairman of the board, he's having a rough time catching him. With 2,775 horsepower behind him, Little Caesars Pizza has a lot more power than Chairman of the board. Unfortunately for him, he also has a lot more weight. These flat waters favor the catamarans. The cats ride on a tunnel of air that lifts them out of the water. Because they have less wetted surface, they have less drag. The lift also makes the boat lighter and easier for the engines to push. In rough seas, the V-bottom has the advantage of being able to cut through the waves. On this flat water, we can see the trouble the V-bottom has keeping up with the catamaran. Even when the cat is outmatched mechanically, it can just walk away from a V-bottom. These two are going over 100 miles per hour, and it could still be anybody's race. We've just come off turns 7 and 8, and we're heading back to the start-finish line at Dennis Gaffney. Little Caesars Pizza just put a challenge to Chairman of the board. It'll be interesting to see the response. For those of you who want to know more about offshore racing, Babe Productions has a videotape to help you learn. It's called Intro to Offshore and sells for only $14.95. It's available wherever Babe tapes are sold. This video is a perfect way to get your family and friends interested in the sport. It explains the differences in classes, equipment, and lots more. Intro to Offshore is the most complete documentary on offshore racing to date. At only $14.95, you can't afford to miss it. As they tear past the start-finish line, these two superboats still neck and neck at over 100 miles an hour. Cat is still very close behind. Unofficially, Cat is in second place at open class. Berlin's Infinity has given up the ghost. It's been a tough year for those guys. Babe's helicopter point of view cam is on one of the hottest contests of the day. Little Caesars Pizza has been in an all-out race against chairman of the board for the entire last lap. These two boats have been putting on quite a show. Even though Little Caesars Pizza is a superboat and chairman of the board is from the open class, it's been a great race to watch. Little Caesars Pizza has just averaged 98.4 miles an hour on that last lap. Chairman of the board edged him out at 98.5. What a race! It looks like Little Caesars race team has tried every trick in the book to extract speed from this boat. What's this? We just picked up a signal from Trace Martin. He's got one more trick up his sleeve. It looks like he's trying to crank out some more power by hand. I can't tell if Trace is trying to row that boat with an imaginary paddle or if that's a signal he's getting cranky. Whatever it is, it's not working. Chairman of the board is still pulling away. Keep it up, Trace. Now we're running with chairman of the board. This boat hasn't missed a beat all day. Chairman of the board is powered by twin 750 horsepower Lamborghini engines and key-caber drive. These Lamborghinis are really getting to show what kind of power they can deliver. Chairman of the board is well on his way to his first victory this season. This 38-foot Cougar catamaran has some interesting design features. It has standoff boxes built into the boat. These standoff boxes extend the key-caber drive further out for more surfacing effect. In most race boats, this modification adds substantially to the top end. This boat has those famous 12-cylinder Lamborghini gas engines. They are the same engines that are found in the Lamborghini race cars. Motors are capable of reaching 800 horsepower. Driver Nuri Sabuku and throttleman Hurley Stepp get a chance to show what this boat is capable of doing. The race leaders have maintained their position from the last lap. In Superboat, it's Eric's Reality, RDS, and Little Caesars Pizza. In Open Class, it's Chairman of the Board, Cat, and Hawk Marine Power. In UIM2 class, it's Team Skater, Eastern Express, and Agitator. In Pro Stock, it's Miss Don Q. Rob, First Offense, and Team Skater. In Stock class, the leaders are Hat Trick, Conk Attack, and Skater Express. 5 years ago, motors never would have sustained this kind of abuse. In Superboat class, the engines range from 800 to 1,000 horsepower. These racers are proving how well these big engines can hold up. Gentry, Lamborghini, Hawk Marine, Cobra, Lightning, and Mercury all have reasons to be proud. We've had a low attrition rate today. That's surprising in these water conditions. These big boats have been running wide open under full strain. You would expect to see a lot more boats break down. If your race team has any interesting ideas for feature stories, contact one of our site producers or cameraman. They've got those famous blue striped t-shirts on. We always are interested in new people, equipment, and race developments. You might even become our next featured race team. Give us a shout. We want to hear from you. We'd like to remind our viewers that the APBA needs volunteers at all the race sites. Volunteers are the backbone of these events. Every phase from race registration to race patrols are staffed by volunteer help. Call the APBA National Headquarters at 313-773-9700 for more information. Back in Dave's point of view helicopter camera, we find RDS running their final long stretch to turn 7 and 8. He's been able to hold off Little Caesar's Pizza, and if he doesn't break down, he should take second place in Superboat class. Driver Stephen Baldwin and throttleman Keith Hazel have done a super job today in the water that's really not suited for these V-bottoms. RDS has managed to turn in a course average of over 98 miles an hour. That's respectable in anybody's book. Eric's Reality has been the big story all year long. Jesse James was the only competitor for these water conditions, and he broke early in the race. Charles Marks will probably wrap the national title next race, then wait for the World's Championship. We'll have to wait and see what the other Superboat giants have up their sleeve. Popeye's Camp is no doubt cooking up something. Gentry has broken the transatlantic crossing records. No doubt he'd like to add the world title to his crown this year. On the final stretch, we have a perfect view of three powerful machines drag racing to the finish line. It's RDS finishing second place in Superboat. Chairman of the board takes first place in open class. Cat came in second place but was disqualified for missing check boat 1 in the first lap. Babe's helicopter point of view camera finds Spirit of America on the way to the finish line. John Antonelli and the Viking Jack Clark are speeding toward the end of the race. Although they are physically in fourth place, they'll end up with a third place win. The second place open class finisher was disqualified for missing a check boat at the beginning of the race. Spirit of America is currently in third place in national point standings. The third place victory will keep him in contention. With 2 more races in the national circuit this season, no one has the open class championship sewn up. Right now it could be anybody's race.
What an incredible race. And let's take a look at the finals while the winners pick up their flags.
The winners in Superboat are Eric's Reality, RDS, and Little Caesar's Pizza. Open class winners are Chairman of the Board, Hawk Marine Power, and Spirit of America. UIM 2 class winners are Team Skater, Eastern Express, and Agitator. In Pro Stock we have Miss Don Q Rum, First Defense, and Team Skater. Stock class winners are Hat Trick, Gonkatek, and Skater Express. This race, as in every race, we've made space available in our helicopter for an APBA medic. This space is donated in the name of the Mark Lavin Safety Foundation. Babe is helping to make offshore a safe sport.
At the awards ceremony, we see many of the season's repeat winners. Eric's Reality, Team Skater, Miss Don Q Rum, Hat Trick, Hawk Marine Power, First Defense, Agitator, and Spirit of America, to name a few. Brand new to the winner's circle was Chairman of the Board in open class. Special Edition was absent for the first time all year, and in a surprise move, film star Chuck Norris announced his offshore racing intentions.
I really enjoyed watching the race today. As you know, I've done a little bit of I've done a couple of races so far in the last year. I did a San Francisco to LA run, and then I did a Chicago to Detroit run. But today is the first time I got a chance to really see an offshore race, and was definitely thrilled and intrigued by seeing just how an offshore race is really run. And I just wanted to come down here today and take a look at the trophy I'm going to be winning next year. So. So Eric's Reality is going to be really on his toes next year. But anyway, I just want to come down and say hello to everybody, and I look forward to seeing everyone here next year, because I hope to be in the race next year. Thank you.
And in a late-breaking news scoop, Charles Marks surprised us with these post-race comments.
So, you know, Traverse City is the same way. Although up in Traverse City, I really don't have to beat Pete. All I have to do is place. And if I place, I should be far enough ahead in points, you know, that I can wrap it up for the year, which is what I intend to do, and then sit back and wait on the world. So I'm going to wrap it up insofar as Superboat is concerned. I'm still trying to get on a smaller boat to run in St. Pete.
On a smaller boat, you say?
Yeah, I want to run in the you know, P stock or the S stock boats. You know, I want to get down there and really feel what it's like to really have good competition, you know, and to, you know, really learn how to drive a boat. Because like I've said a zillion times, all I have to do is sit behind the wheel in that big cat. And on a day like today, what is there out there, you know? Yeah. We just rode around the course in our town car. And those little guys were out there in their Volkswagens getting bumped. So, that's the way I feel about that, so, you know. Hopefully somebody will be dumb enough or crazy enough to say, yeah, Charlie, come on down, hop aboard my boat, and I'll hop aboard the boat and run with it.
Well, we'd like to thank the APBA, the OPT, and the Lake St. Clair Racing Association for helping us bring you the 1989 Bud Light Run for the Glory on video. We hope you've enjoyed the race and that you'll continue to follow the offshore action throughout the year. We'd like to remind our viewers that Babe Productions is the only video company officially sanctioned by the APBA. We'll be bringing the excitement of every race on the 1989 APBA OPT circuit right into your home with 11 editions of the Offshore Powerboat Race Report. You can keep up with the racing action all year long because the next checkered flag is just a tape away.